Hi, my name is Shreyas, and I care about the Earth. I help the Earth all the time, while saving time for other things as well. Are you curious? Well, with these 5 simple steps, you can reduce your carbon footprint by a lot. Well, without further ado, let's get into it. Step 1 is to minimize food wastage. Firstly, you might be wondering why food wastage contributes to our carbon footprint in the first place. Here's how. Number 1. The energy and water used to grow, harvest, and transport the food is wasted if you don't consume the food. Number 2. When wasted food ends up in a landfill, it rots and produces methane, which is a greenhouse gas more potent than CO2. Overall food wastage counts for 6% of total global greenhouse gas emissions. We should try our best to finish all the food in our plate and should always keep our eatables in the refrigerator for a longer shelf life. Step 2 is to minimize energy wastage. What this means is that we should turn off any electrical appliance when it isn't being used. For example, many people forget to turn off the lights when they leave the room. If you forget to turn the lights off, then that leads to overconsumption of energy, which comes from burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. Burning fossil fuels releases both carbon dioxide and methane, which are greenhouse gases. Energy wastage counts to more than 1% of total global emissions. Step 3 is to separate our waste. We can separate our waste into 2 groups: biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. If something is biodegradable, then it can be decomposed by bacteria, avoiding pollution. We can keep 2 different bins for each of these 2 groups. If we do this, then we can make sure that the non-biodegradable waste gets recycled and the biodegradable waste can be turned into compost. You might need a few worms as well. There are probably plenty in your backyard. And nothing goes to the landfill. Landfill emissions make up some of the most significant emissions on the whole planet. These emissions contribute to more than 11% of total global emissions. On top of that, it releases methane, which is 28 times more harmful than carbon dioxide. Not sure whether things are biodegradable or not? Well, food and other organic materials, like plants, are biodegradable. Certain packets can be biodegradable. If it is, then it will be mentioned on the packet. Step 4 is to use efficient methods of transport. We can choose to bike to work instead of driving to work. This will make sure that we don't release emissions from our car. If the distances are too big, we can use public transport like buses and trains. A bus can have around 40 passengers. If 40 people drive to work, then all those 40 cars will release a lot of emissions. If those 40 people take the bus to work instead, then it will release significantly less emissions because they are all sitting in one vehicle. The average bus in the UK releases 75 grams of CO2 per passenger kilometre compared to the average car in the UK, which releases 158 grams of CO2 per passenger kilometre, more than twice as much as a bus. Step 5 is the classic reduce, reuse, recycle. A better way to say this is reduce consumption, reuse products, and recycle products. Reduce consumption means reducing energy consumption, similar to step 2. You can go back to that if you want. Reusing products means that you can use something for various tasks, even if it's not usually used for those tasks. I reuse jam jars after the jam is finished to store other things. Recycling means that when something is used and cannot be used anymore, then we can turn it into something else and reuse it again. I recycle my scrap paper and turn it into a decorative piece in my room, or I put it in the recycle bin so that others can recycle it. We can all adopt these methods and reduce our carbon footprint. Now you can join me in making the Earth a better place together.